Hello everyone, welcome to week, what are we on, 12 of the Ninja Machine League. 2 weeks to go in the regular season, lots of playoff potential matches today, as in, if you win, you're probably in the playoffs. If you lose, you're probably out. There are a lot of big matchups on the cusp, I have no idea where I'm going with this. I'm just going to go to the games. We're going to start with Jacksonville and Vermont. Jacksonville eliminated from the playoffs. Vermont, one game out, and they're going to need some help. Probably going to need to win both games down the stretch. They currently sit at 4-7. Jacksonville with a season high of 90. And Vermont with a season high of 128. But Vermont on a 4-game losing streak. Jacksonville on a 5-game losing streak, so something's got to give today on Origins. Lucas Reale, our first run of the week, and he clears. But Anton Famecco clears right back. Papu Popoff, and Kajihara with the fastest time, 1:32. Brilliant time. Jacksonville taking a 5-point lead. Wow, great time by Jun Sato. Kenzie failing chain reaction R. Kajihara go 2 for 2. He can. Gavin Markowitz clears. Papu pops off. 2 for 2 for her. Jacksonville now a 6-point lead. But Daniel Gill failing up for grabs. The door open for Kim Marshner. Doesn't take advantage. 8-point lead. Okay, so Lucas needs 7 obstacles to tie, 8 to win. Doesn't get it, and the Jacksonville Jackals end their losing streak. Vermont probably eliminated. And a season high for Jacksonville at that, 92 points. San Antonio Stallions and Chicago Crusaders. Chicago currently sitting at 7-4, safely in the playoffs at this point. I think they could mathematically be taken out of the playoffs, but they have like a 99% chance of making it. San Antonio has a 99% chance of being out. They're going to need to win and get a lot of help. Chicago with a lot of high scores. They've scored at least 95 points in all but one of their games. Sitting on 6 centuries. And San Antonio only with 2. They will also be playing on Origins. As Tomohiro Kawaguchi starts us off with a spinning log fail. Katie Bone clears. San Antonio, despite the poor record, has won 2 of their last 3. Things not looking great here so far. Chicago's starting to run away with this one. Kagezumi stopping the damage. Excuse me. And a bullseye rope fail. Down 25, and you got to say that might have been worse. Chicago, by the way, has won their last 4 games as they try to make a charge into the playoffs. They're in with a win. A really weak second stage there. San Antonio are going to need a miracle here. They're not going to get it, and Chicago with one of the strongest stage 3s in the league, but vertical limit 4th will do that to you. Joe Moravsky has no hope of coming back. This run is completely moot. He's going to fill walking bar anyway. The Chicago Crusaders are going to the playoffs. Second lowest score of the season, but it is enough. San Antonio eliminated with just 53, their lowest score since week 1. Chicago in, San Antonio out as we start to make our way towards understanding who's in and who's out. Playoffs just 7 days away. As we head over to the International Conference now. For the Hawaii Honu and the Toronto Racoons. Toronto sitting at 2-9, dead last in the World Conference. With Jacksonville's win, they are the last team in the league with just 2 wins. Every other team has at least 3 wins. Hawaii 5-6 in a huge logjam at 5-6 in the World Conference. There are 4 teams at 5-6 right now. 2 of them would qualify for the playoffs. Hawaii started 1-4, but they've won 4 of their last 6, including 120, a season high, a week ago. And this is our first opportunity to see banana. The correct banana, mind you. I would like to see somebody clear just to be safe. Thank you. It's Grace Gordon. I tell you what, Grace Gordon this season has been fantastic. Only Yannick with the close clear. Banana Mountain's a tough obstacle, I must say. Hawaii with a 9-point lead, but Emily Keener not capitalizing as she is out on banana rungs, or a banana ladder. Grace Gordon can't repeat her success as she's out immediately on brutal bananas. A timeout of Shrine of the Silver Monkey. And this stage really showing its teeth. John Tesnos clears. Oli Yannick runs out of time. So just the one clear, and Kyle Soderman fails Apex of Monkey. John Tesnos doesn't do much better, but it is enough, and Toronto will be sat down with just 44 points. The Hawaii Honu do what they need to do, and now they'll sit and scoreboard watch the rest of the night as they get an easy win, 78-44. Only 4 buzzers in that entire match. Well, maybe the Reading Express and Atlanta Aces will do a little bit better. Atlanta made the playoffs the first 2 seasons, but an 0-6 start doomed them. They have won 3 of their last 5, but they are eliminated. Reading Express has been a ghost team for most of the season. They had a 5-game win streak at one point. They won last week with just 71 points. Yuji Urushihara with a clutch clear. Yogev Malka was on the cover last week. No curse this week. Caleb Bergstrom with the clear. Angelique fails on log grip. And the Atlanta Aces take a lead, but unable to capitalize. Lily Barrett, not her best performance this week. Charlie Baldo clears. Loic Fortier does not. And Atlanta starting to open up a bigger lead. But Moran clears. Just barely timing out with Evan Lavallee. And UG unable to repeat his success. Atlanta with a 17-point lead. Caleb Bergstrom can just about ice it here. And he will! Tremendous. However, Yogev Malka clearing. So Gavin Obi now can ice it with the clear. And he does! Where has this Atlanta Aces team been all season? Reading fails to break 90 for the third straight week, and the Atlanta Aces with a season-high 117 points have won this game. Atlanta moves to 4-8. Reading now started the day in 4th place and safely in the playoffs. Now they're going to have to scoreboard watch. They're still probably in. They do have the head-to-head tiebreaker on Chicago, but now Chicago has a game on them, so we'll see. Melbourne Mighties, Colchester Athletics. Melbourne sitting in first place at 9-2. Colchester sitting in 12th at 3-8. They will be on Bandana. Oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Jay Lewis, league's leading point scorer, gets it done. And the Melbourne Mighties lead by 1 point. Fail of invisible ladder, that doesn't happen very often. I don't know what it is with this second stage, man. Okay, so that was brutal. The Colchester Athletics had a crazy upset of the San Francisco Overdrive this season. This would be an even more monumental upset. David Campbell can't turn back the clock too much. However, Melbourne has Jay Lewis and Riosuke Miyaoka, 2 of the 5 leading point scorers in the league. The fail of Meta Banana, though. 1 point lead. Tyler Kurtzals. We're going to slow this down a little bit. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness! Not only does Ryosuke Miyaoka have to clear, he has to clear faster than Tyler Kurtzals just cleared. Or Colchester is going to get another monumental upset. Oh my god, he failed! He failed Meta Banana, and the Colchester Athletics have just knocked off the #1 team in the World Conference. What the hell? All right, well, the good news for Melbourne is that they're in the playoffs. The bad news is they probably just lost the 1 seed. We'll see how Seoul does in a little bit. But next up, it's the Panama Caneleros and Wellington Wizards. They sit at 10th and 8th respectively. Panama starting 3-0, and they've lost their last 8. They need to win out and get a lot of help. Wellington currently on the outside looking in, but they are in that logjam at 5 and 6. Are 2-time season champions, potentially going to miss the playoffs. They need a win here badly. Oh, they're on banana. Takasuka starts us off with a clear. Nice triple number. And Panama takes a 12-point lead. Wellington in huge trouble. Fascinating. Yeah, you have to be perfect on banana ladder, I think. But Asa Reynolds clears. It does put Wellington in a provisional lead. Nora Brown-John. Does not do enough. But Caden Forship fails brutal barrels, and the Wellington Wizards take a 1-point lead into the third stage. Not a great run there from Rio. Asa Reynolds not a whole lot better. Caden Forship. All right, Enzo just needs to clear Apex of Monkey to win the match. He does. And the Wellington Wizards stay in the hunt. They move to 6 and 6 as they win 89-66. And Enzo finishes things off with a clear just for good measure. Indianapolis, Inferno, and Reno runners. Reno, of course, the #1 team in the American Conference. However, they have lost 2 of their last 3 after starting 8-0. They face an Indianapolis team that sits 5 and 6, having won 3 of their last 4. As Indianapolis tries to make it into the playoffs. Reno with the slight edge, hanging down to the last runner of the stage. Dino wall fail. Interesting. And a clear by RJ. So we are all knotted up. How about that? How'd they manage that? Reno with the top 2 times, and despite having one less clear, they actually remain tied on bonus points. Finally, we're starting to see some clears on this stage. And Reno now opening up a huge lead after getting 3 clears there. But Noah not doing that hot. Neither did Yuri, and this match is pretty much over. Now it is definitely over. Reno with another strong performance. They have yet to score below 98 points this season. They win this one 114-93, and Indianapolis is now on the outside looking in. Next up, Cologne Condors and Seoul Dragons. Cologne currently sitting in 11th as they are pretty much out. Seoul, though, 9-2. Randomly dumped to 58 2 weeks ago, but they fought back with 110 last week. They're on banana. And Seoul taking a 15-point lead through the first stage. Cologne's still struggling. Triple number by Renee. Double number by Sean Bryan, and he clears 2 banana ladder fails and 3 banana ladder fails. Seoul up 16 points. And a clear for Sean Bryan. But Seoul with a run in hand. Nathaniel Honu unable to beat all the glory. Alright, Renee needs 1 obstacle to tie, 2 to win. And he gets just enough. The Seoul Dragons, despite their 3rd lowest score of the season, win this one 75-73, just edging out the Cologne Condors, who unfortunately are now eliminated. Five matchups to go as we head to the Milan Marauders and Vancouver Voyagers. And we head to the first of 2 very critical matches in the World Conference. Milan sitting 7-4 in 4th place. Vancouver 5-6 in 7th place. But we saw Wellington win just a bit ago. By the way, Vancouver exactly on 1,000 points. Just interesting note. We head right back to banana. Milan starting decently strong, but Jackson-Erdos with a warp beam fail. Well, Carrington Andrews, the number 1 woman this season, fails banana grip. And Milan not able to hold on to a big lead. They lead by just 1. And KK is going to get 4 points this week. Could very well lose the top woman spot. A narrow clear there. And Milan leads by just 3. Kevin Rodriguez unable to beat Meta Banana. Wow! Jackson fails banana roulette. A stunningly poor game from Jackson-Erdos. Max Feinberg, though, failing stadium seats, and Tatsuya Tada needs 5 obstacles for the win. And he is going to get exactly 5 obstacles. The Milan Marauders are in the playoffs. Vancouver Voyagers have lost 3 in a row and are probably at this point out. Milan wins by 1 point in a critical match. And now we head over to an equally critical match in the American Conference. The 6-5 Detroit Demons play the 5-6 Austin Antelopes. Austin with just 69 points last week. In their 5 wins, they've yet to score less than 94 points. In their 6 losses, they've yet to score more than 89. As for the Detroit Demons, a loss last week snapped a 4-game winning streak, I should say. They've scored at least 70 points in every game so far. Four clears, and the Detroit Demons lead by 1. Savannah Salinas doesn't do a whole lot to inspire confidence there. Of course, neither does Brooks Bieber. Luke Dillon with a very fast clear. Caden Lebsack with an even faster clear. That might be a record. Matthias Norell challenging that record. Yamamoto with a fast clear. Yamamoto with the slow clear. And we see 5 clears on that stage after Sam Leahy fills Circle Hammer somehow, and the Detroit Demons lead by 10. Detroit well, I would say Austin probably needs this win more. Matthias Norell cannot open up too big of a gap, and Caden Lebsack desperately needs a clear here. And he's going to miss it, failing the dismount of the pipe slider. That could prove costly. Tom Alberti gets the pipe slider for the tie, beat the pipe slider for the win. Doesn't get there, he fails vertical limit, and the Detroit Demons move to 7-5, almost certainly at this point in the playoffs. While the critical matchups keep coming as the Bradford Bulldogs at 6-5 play the San Francisco Overdrive at 5-6. San Francisco started off really hot. They've kind of faltered down the stretch. However, they do have the tiebreaker on Vancouver, Wellington, and Hawaii. So with a win here, they're in good shape. Bradford, on the other hand, makes the playoffs with a win. I'm fairly certain Detroit's in, by the way. I don't know if they've clinched yet. We'll have to look at the standings. Bradford in with a win. They've won their last 3. They made some team adjustments after starting 3-5. Season high of 118 2 weeks ago. And for San Francisco, they started off with 121 and 125 and have yet to get anywhere near there since. They probably won't today on Banana. Briefly tied there. And another yellow posted hop rocket fail. San Francisco leads by 4. San Francisco needs this win desperately. They had a 4-game losing streak after starting 4-1. Lost big last week. Sean McCall clutches it clear. Xavier Dantzler gets a very fast clear. And 4 clears there. San Francisco leads by 7. Oh! Almost had the clear. Now Vance Walker needs 4 obstacles for the win. He will get it. And the San Francisco Overdrive win this one 88-85. They stay in the hunt. Bradford now in a little bit of danger as they join a stacked field at 6-6. 2 matches to go. We head back to the American Conference and our final game of Origins as the 5-6 New Haven Whalers play the 9-2 Houston Hurricanes. Houston will not be able to take the lead in the American Conference as Reno won today. New Haven needs a win here to stay in contention. They do have the tiebreaker on both Austin and Indianapolis, who I believe both lost. So actually, I think a win gets them in. But they've lost their last 6 games in a row. They scored 94 2 weeks ago, so I guess it's not for lack of trying. Houston has won their last 3. The ladies not inspiring confidence. Triple number for Yuval Shemla. Wreathman clears. We get 4 clears and the Houston Hurricanes lead by 3. Can Clement Gravier keep that lead going? Yes, he can. Phil Folsom, uncharacteristic. And New Haven now opens up a lead. Great time by Yuval Shemla, though. Oh no, Lily Brown John couldn't finish off the second stage. And we are all square. But Houston, probably the best third stage combo in the league. This is going to be tough. Fail of walking bar. Phil Folsom. Failed the second stage a moment ago. Fails the vertical limit. Hans Hertz can clinch this with the clear. And he's done it! The New Haven Whalers snapped their losing streak. Matt Bradley's run is moot. He fails walking bar, and the New Haven Whalers, with 108 points, they, I think, are in the playoffs. Houston, meanwhile, no longer in contention for the 1 seed. I believe that secures Reno the bye. And Houston will have to watch this next game to see if they might even move down to the 3 seed. And speaking of which, it is the 3 seed versus the 3 seed. Our cross-conference match is the main event. The 8-3 Maryland Hawks take on the 8-3 Minneapolis Mystics. Both teams safely in the playoffs, but jostling for position. I think the 1 seeds are now out of reach, but this should still be a very good game. Playoff seeding definitely at stake. Nick Warren, the free agency pickup, clears. He will probably be staying in the lineup, one would think. A hazard banana fails by Millie Baker. And the Maryland Hawks lead by 7. Jake McClintock with a clear. Kai Beckstrand with the clear. Hattie Herman fails banana ladder. There we go. Now we're starting to get some clears. Shocking fail there by Minneapolis by Tyler Smith. Narrow fail by Nick Warren. But just 1 point again out of Millie Baker. She puts up 2. I don't know if Minneapolis has a backup plan at the woman's spot. There will be no overtime this week, as this is a 1 point game. A meta banana fail there by Jake McClintock. Tyler Smith looking to get redemption. And he does! Sub 4 on the 3rd stage. And a fairly anticlimactic 3rd stage sees the Minneapolis Mystics win this one 93-76. The week is over. Everybody get thinking on which course you'd like to ban for week 13. It's rivalry week. And that means that you guys are going to get to choose what course you're going to play on. Those picks are due on Monday night. Thanks for coming. We will see you next week. Or on Tuesday. For the final week of the regular season.